everyone, I can't tell you how excited I am for this video. We have a haul today. I've been buying books kind of constantly recently, like all month, or kind of every day almost. I've been like, I need to go Waterstones, have a little pick me up, have a little browse. But I have a very small physical TBR, or I did have a very small physical TBR. And on average, I read about 2 to 3 books a week. This month and in autumn winter, particularly, I read a lot more. And I've been reading about 3 to 4 books a week. So even if I have 20 books on my TBR, that will take me less than 2 months to read. I do also read on Kindle Unlimited, but anyway, in terms of physical books, that's how I roll. So I have stocked up on some books so that I then don't have to buy as much for the rest of the year. I'm hoping that these books will last me until the end of the year, but we will just see. So I have a load of books from Waterstones, some from the Works, and a couple from Amazon. Those are the 3 main places that I buy books. I'm just gonna get straight in and show you them. I'm gonna do them in like I've got these in different goes. I haven't all bought these in one trip. These are all multiple trips I've done throughout the past couple of weeks. So my most recent trip was to the Works. The Works is an amazing place if you want cheap but popular books. And they often do amazing sprayed edges. And I picked up 3, and they also do a 3 for £6 deal, and sometimes you get amazing stuff in that. I bought all of the Chestnut Spring series in the 3 for £6 deal, so I paid £2 for each of those. It was crazy, but anyway, these weren't, however they were still cheap. So yes, the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. Everyone talks about this series because the pumpkin spice cafe of this one has blown up recently in popularity. It actually came out last autumn, but for some reason this autumn everyone's talking about it. And I read the Pumpkin Spice Cafe last autumn and I enjoyed it. It wasn't anything like revolutionary. It was sort of a typical romance. It was very smutty considering the covers. You wouldn't think so, but it was. But it was cozy, it was fun, it was cute, and it was very autumnal, and it got me in the autumnal spirit. And I think I actually read it in one sitting, so that shows how nice it was. And I've been wanting to get the next one for ages. There's this one, and then there's Christmas Tree Farm, which is another one that she's brought out, but I think I'm gonna obviously buy that closer to Christmas. Yeah, so the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore is her next one. She also then has another one coming out in like springtime, which is the Strawberry Pancake House or something, and it's cute. So I'm hoping that I like this one as much as I like the Pumpkin Spice Cafe one. I'm not a huge romance reader, but a few weeks ago you will have seen my vlog. I started reading only romance for a week, and I kind of fell in love with, or back in love at least, with the romance genre. I am always a fantasy girl, first and foremost, down to my core. However, I love a romance for a break from the fantasy. They're easier to read, they're a bit lighter often, not always, but often, you know, a lighter, cozier romance. It's a nice break when you've been reading lots of heavy world building. So I wanted to stock up on some romance, little sort of cute, quick, short romance books that I can kind of go in between when I'm reading my big fantasy series. This is perfect for that, and it's so autumnal, so I definitely want to read this as soon as possible. I reckon by the time this is posted I will have read it, because I want to read this like early November, because I just feel like that's the vibe. It's giving autumn wintry energy. But basically the first book, Pumpkin Spice Cafe, was about a woman that goes to this village and she starts a new cafe called the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, and she meets a man there, and that's kind of how it goes, and she gets used to the village. I'm presuming this is the same. I'm presuming this is a woman that opens a bookstore, and it looks like it is. And it's all set in this village called Dream Harbour, so I think all of these are sort of in these little shops, and I think that's a really cute idea. And the main character is called Hazel, which was my grandma's name, and I love that name, and I loved my grandma, so. It says, when a secret message turns up hidden in a book in the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, Hazel can't understand it. As more secret codes appear between the pages, she decides to follow the trail of clues. She just needs someone to help her out. So it's got like a fun little gamey mystery thing in it. Cool. Anyway, £5.50 that was. Smashed it. Now these are gorgeous. I love those sprayed edges. These were both £5. So I picked up Training the Heart. I've recently, a few weeks ago, finished Chestnut Spring series, and again you can watch that in my romance vlog from a few weeks ago, and I really enjoyed it. It wasn't, again, you know, groundbreaking, it wasn't anything crazy, but it was really fun. I really liked it, and it got me back into the romance genre. So I was like, I'm gonna try another cowboy one. I do want to read Elsie Silver's other series, cowboy series, but you can get them on Kindle Unlimited, so I'm gonna do that. But this I saw in the works. It's pretty, and this is a cowboy one, and she has another one in this sort of series out as well. There's Escape to the Wild West with a sizzling cowboy romance that will leave you breathless. So need I say any more? I think essentially the girl starts working on the guy's ranch. So other than that, don't know too much, but it looks really fun, looks cute, and again, it's a simple, cute romance. I'm not expecting, you know, Pride and Prejudice. It's okay. Like, it will be a really nice way to break things up. And then we have Love at First Night. I've seen this everywhere. This came out a few months ago now, actually, I think. I love the sprayed edges, but I've seen this everywhere, and this was £5 as well. But I just didn't get it because it sounded a bit cringe to me. It sounded like a sort of typical cringe. Oh, it's a bit sticky. To me, it sounded like, I don't know, it looks a bit kitschy and young, and it's just not my style. I mean, normally I read like dark fantasy. This is not looking very, this does not give that same energy. So I was put off of it. But then I looked at the blurb and I was like, oh, okay. It's set in the Tower of London. I love the Tower of London. Or I used to, at least when I was younger. It's got a bit, it's not as good now. But it feels very London, British based. I like the idea of night school. I like fantasy, and this has knights in it, and I love medieval. It's not obviously set medieval, it's contemporary. But you know what I mean? I love medieval elements, and it's gonna have some of that in it with like the knights and stuff like that. So I don't know, it looks fun. It's enemies to lovers, little rom-com, feels cute. Again, a nice little read to break things up. Now, you may have just seen a little peek of it there. I am so excited for this, I cannot tell you how excited I am. So I bought this in Waterstones, and I had a £10 voucher on my Waterstones card, and that's the main reason I bought this, because it was expensive, so I got £10 off. Now, you don't need to have read the Plated Prisoner series. The Plated Prisoner series starts with Guild. This is the latest one, this is the last one. This is the big finale, as you can tell. You don't need to have read or know anything about it to appreciate how gorgeous this is. Oh my gosh, with the gold plated, just because it's called Plated Prisoner, the gold sprayed edges, that quote at the back, it says, "A goldfinch does not fall, it flies." It is so beautiful. Oh, I haven't even taken off the dust jacket yet. Oh my gosh, I wonder if it's just plain or if there's something on it. And this version is signed by Raven Kennedy. Now, Plated Prisoner series, I finished it a few days ago, and I've been waiting to pick this up, but obviously it's quite expensive, so luckily I got it with my voucher, and I saw this in Waterstones, and I was like, oh my god, what a beautiful edition. The Plated Prisoner series is one of my favourite series, up there. I'd say it's probably my third favourite series and books ever. I loved it. Because I finished it in October, you will see me talk more about it in my October wrap up, which was a video or two ago. So watch that for more info on what I thought about the series. But what I will say is it's one of my favourite series. I've been waiting to get the finale, and I'm so excited. Now, the book before this I didn't enjoy because, quick spoiler, the main character and the female main character are separated throughout the whole book before this. But it also means that I am absolutely dying to start this because I need them to get back together. And I know that they will, and I'm sure that they will. And from what I've seen people saying, they seem really happy with the ending. So I presume that, you know, it ends happily, whatever. So I need to read it to get to that point. I'm kind of just going to ignore the last book. Last book was fine, but it was mainly like world building and politics. But anyway, excited to get back into it and get a finale. Goldfinch is the nickname that the male main character gives the female main character. So I also think it's a great name for the final book. It's really cute, it's really gorgeous. Oh my god, I'm just obsessed, I love it. So this was originally £20, but I had a £10 voucher, so I got this for £10, which I think is pretty good. Then, in the works, I also picked up, this was another time, I picked up Binding 13. My friend Yara told me to read this. So, hey Yara, I am reading this. This is a romance, I believe it's contemporary romance, and this is 800 pages. Now I do wonder, like with a romance, especially one that kind of seems to be set to begin with in college, like school sort of times, from what I can gather. Yeah, college. Is it ever that serious? Is it ever that deep? But I'm excited that it is. Excited that it clearly is that deep. So we're just gonna see. Everyone talks about this series and how cool it is. Like there's Keeping 13, and then there's Saving 6, Redeeming 6, and they had all of the others in the works as well, but obviously I was like, I'm going to get the first one first and see how we go. I am I like that it's dual POV. We get the male main character's POV as well. Everyone talks about the male main character. I've heard a lot about him, so he's clearly likeable, and that helps me read a romance book. I have to like the man in it, otherwise I will struggle. So I'm excited and scared because it's so big, but everyone talks about how amazing it is. So yeah, and I picked it up for £5. Why not? I think that's pretty good value for this. This will take me probably a while to read. But yeah, I'm nervous / excited. I feel like I'm going to save this for when I've maybe read a bit of fantasy, but I don't just want a kitschy romance. I actually want a more maybe detailed emotional one. I am someone that I love a cozy romance and a quick romance, but I'm never going to rate that more than 4.5 stars because I'll never be able to emotionally connect enough to it if it's just that quick and cozy and cute, you know? If there's not as much emotional, you can't have much emotional development and character development within 300 pages. 800 pages, there better be, okay? And I do love, and my highest ratings, i.e. 4.5 stars and above, come when I am in love with the characters myself. I wish they were real people, they feel like real people, you know, there's good development, they feel real, all of that. And this is more likely to happen in this one because it's so long. So yeah, we will see. And if I like it, I will get the rest, but I'm slightly scared. In Waterstones, my friend bought me The Last Kingdom, which is very kind of him. I've watched The Last Kingdom on Netflix and I really enjoyed it. I haven't finished it because I keep getting to a point in shows where I kind of forget about it for a few weeks and then I'm like, oh, I don't even remember what happened, I don't care what happens next. But I really enjoy it and I love the whole Viking era. I guess it literally was an era, like, the Viking world, and I love sort of Viking England, Saxon England, medieval England, whatever, all of that. I find it really interesting. So this is just the first book. The Netflix show is obviously based off this series by Bernard Cromwell. This is the first book in it, so I'm going to see how it is. It's not too long for a fantasy. Like, God, it's barely 300 pages. So, you know, for a fantasy book, that's pretty short. I reckon I get through it quite quickly. However, it is quite a long series, I'm pretty sure. So I'm sure that if I love it, I will just keep reading, but we will see. This is a very fantasy one. Like, this is feeling like more like Hobbit, Lord of the Rings style fantasy. This has not got as many female main characters in it, and it's definitely not a romantasy. So this might be one that I need to read. Maybe like these two, you know, one before the other might work well. A land riven by conflict, an orphan boy has come of age. Once betrayed, kidnapped and enslaved, Uhtred is now a skilled warrior who kneels to no one. Alfred, the king, fights to hold the throne of the only land still resisting the pagan Vikings. Uhtred and Alfred's fates are tangled, bound by destiny and blackened by the flames of war. Together they will change history. So I kind of know what happens. I know a lot of it. I don't know exactly how much happens in each book, but I'm very, very interested to read it. I feel like Bernard Cromwell and Brandon Sanderson are like the kings of fantasy, especially sort of a little more like male focused fantasy. Obviously anyone can read them, but you know what I mean. And I'm trying to get into those. Brandon Sanderson's books are like massive and I can't do that yet. So we're gonna start with Bernard. You may have seen me talk about some of these books briefly because they were chosen for my video of Instagram chooses my TBR. I really recommend watching that if you want to see a bit more about these because I'm going to go over them quite quickly, and why they were chosen and what the other options are and all of that. You will see a vlog of me reading these particular books either soon or previously. I can't remember exactly what's coming out first, but I picked these up in Waterstones. So we have House of Marion. This essentially, I've been told, or it's been sold to me as Bridgerton meets fantasy. Need you say any more? I am a fantasy gal, I'm also a Bridgerton gal. Have I read all the Bridgerton books? Yes. I know I say I'm not a romance galley, but for some reason, Bridgerton, Regency, it gets me, okay? Have I read all of Jane Austen? Yes. Regency just gets me, and obviously this isn't set in Regency world, Regency England, no, but it's got that royal core energy to it, and I love a fantasy that has a strong royal connection, like maybe it's set in court or something like that, and that has this. It kind of feels like Bridgerton, and it's got some trials in it and some games, so it's kind of like Hunger Games mixed with Bridgerton mixed with fantasy, which is like all my favourite things in one. So I'm very, very excited for this, and the second one has come out recently as well, and it's all about sort of high society mixed with fantasy. I'm very excited. Then Bookshops and Bone Dust. This is a very autumnal sort of book. I'm excited for this one. This is the prequel to Legends and Lattes, which I'll be reading if I like this one. This is fairly short. It's like 300 pages of a simple, cozy fantasy, so it's not a crazy strong plot. A lot of this is sort of a woman, you know, is working in a bookshop and she meets some interesting characters, and it's sort of about what she learns from them, what she talks to them about, what she does with them, blah, blah, blah. That forms the main plot for this. So again, I feel like when you've had quite a high fantasy or a really high, hard book, like maybe you've read Binding 13 or you've read The Last Kingdom, this is quite a nice, easier fantasy to ease into. Then we have A Song of Silver Flame Like Night. I can't get over this cover, it's so gorgeous. Oh my gosh. This is quite detailed, it feels quite high fantasy. Like, I don't understand much from the blurb, but I think it's one of those that you just got to start reading and just see what happens. Fallen Kingdom, one girl carries the key to its forgotten past and the demons that sleep at its heart. Once Lan had a different name, now she goes by the one that Atlantean colonizers gave her. She spends her days scavenging for remnants of the past for anything that might help her understand the strange mark burned onto her arm by her mother in her last act before she died. No one can see the mysterious mark until the night a boy appears and saves her life. Zen is a practitioner, one of the fabled magicians of the Last Kingdom, whose abilities were rumoured to be drawn from the demons they communed with. Magic believed to be long lost, magic to be hidden at all costs. So Lan and Zen have secrets buried deep within. Fate has connected them, but their destiny remains unwritten. Both hold the power to liberate their land, and both hold the power to destroy the world. So yes, it sounds very political, but I like that. I just can't get over how gorgeous the cover is. And there is a second book out as well. And yeah, it seems like a nice romance. I like the idea of the two characters being sort of drawn together. Then we have Kingdom of the Wicked. This is by Koma Scalco. Now, I've seen a lot of books by her. She also does Throne of the Fallen. Is it the other one? Yeah, she does Throne of the Fallen, and there's also more books in this series. So we're gonna see how I like it. A lot of people seem to prefer Throne of the Fallen though, so if I don't like this one, I'm not gonna not buy Throne of the Fallen, as that's still on my TBR. But this book is basically about a girl that tries to look at what happened in the death of her twin sister and how basically it seems like dark magic was used. So she meets one of the wicked princes of hell that she's been warned against, but he claims to be on her side and helps her solve her twin's murder as well as a load of other murders on the island. So it's murder mystery mixed with fantasy. Perfect. Exactly what I want, to be honest. And lastly, from Waterstones, we have The Crimson Moth. Again, talked about this a lot in my other video, but this is essentially a witch hunter book. And again, I can't get over how gorgeous this cover is. Beautiful. I love a witch hunter. I love an enemies to lovers, so this sounds great. This is also called The Heartless Hunter in America, so if you're confused, that's why. And it has a different cover. Lastly, from Amazon, I picked up a couple of books. I try not to buy books off Amazon because I like to go to booksellers, independent shops if I can, although there's none really where I live, so it depends where I go. And I try to go to smaller, well, Waterstones isn't small, but you know, I want to keep the high street and the book high street going, so I try to buy them in person. Also, it's more fun going to a bookstore and buying books in person, I find. But anyway, however, Amazon do this thing where if you buy something, you need to get your order to at least £10 to get free delivery. So often, for example, I needed to buy some bags for my Vinted stuff. I needed to buy some parcel bags, and then I would have to have paid like 10 quid for delivery unless I added stuff. So I added a couple books that were on sale. So first, I got The Ornithologist's Field Guide to Love. So this is cute. I have read these books by this woman, India Holton. She sort of did very Bridgerton style Regency era books, but they were sort of Regency era mixed with magic and witchiness, which again, perfect. I really enjoyed those. I really enjoyed those books. So I was like, okay, she's got a new one out. And I think this is fantasy, but I think it's mainly love. I think it's just love, actually. I think it's just romance. Two rival ornithologists, an ornithologist is someone obviously that studies birds, seeking one dangerous, beautiful bird. Is the hunt of their lives also how they find the love of their lives? Professor Beth Pickering is on the verge of finally capturing the rare deaf whistler bird when Professor Devon Lockley swoops in, stealing both her bird and her imagination. When a competition to become Bird of the Year by capturing an endangered Caladrius bird is announced, Beth and Devon are forced to team up to have any chance of winning. Okay, so it's kind of enemies to lovers, or maybe not enemies, but you know, rivals to lovers. And it just seems fun, and I enjoyed her other books, so I want to try it out. And then we have Twin Crowns. This is very YA, but I actually love this cover. I actually like when they have real people in the cover, kill me. But I like when it's like this sort of like cartoony, gorgeously drawn, you know. This is by Catherine Doyle and Catherine Webber, which I always wonder, like, how do two people write one book at once? I don't really get it. This is Two Sisters, One Crown. Princess Rose is heir to the throne of Iana. Trained from birth to fear the witches that killed her parents, she will do anything to defend her kingdom. Stolen from the palace at birth, Wren is a secret sister no one knows about. She plots to usurp the princess in order to protect the witches of Orpha who raised her. Oh, okay, so it's almost like two sisters against each other. Okay, that's really, really cool. This has been on my TBR for a while, so again, picked it up, added it to my physical. I think it was like £5. I think these were both £5 on Amazon sale, so why not get free delivery? Great. Looks fun. It looks very YA, but we'll see how it goes, and I'm excited. Okay, that was my haul of pretty much all the books I've bought in the past couple of weeks. I'm now not going to buy books for a long time. I'm not necessarily on a book buying ban, because if I see a book I really want or love, and maybe it's in the works for cheap or something, or it's on sale, I will just pick it up. But I'm not going to be buying like a haul, you know, I'm not going to be buying more than like one or two in one go for a while. And yeah, I will focus on getting through these. I mean, there's quite a few to get through, and then these two as well. So thank you for watching. Again, let me know if you read any of these and what you thought about them, but no spoilers please, or if you're looking to buy any of these, and also let me know what you thought about this edition. If you have read the Plate Prisoner series, please talk to me. I'm obsessed. I also have my own book club now. It's free, completely free to join. It's on the Fable app. It's linked to my description. I love the Fable app. It's basically Goodreads but better. You get like more fun stats about all your reading. You get to make more fun lists, and you can join book clubs for free. I have one called He Falls First. It's basically we just read fantasy and romance books that have strong, likable male main characters that make you fall for them. We're basically looking for our next book boyfriend, okay? So if you want to join that and chat to me, I'm always chatting on there. I love chatting to you guys, so please join that and we can talk. And I will see you very soon for another video. Bye.